Anyfield stories on there.
Can I have your attention, please? This is a call to order. This is a joint meeting of the Poinciana Community Development District and the Poinciana West Community Development District. It's November 30th, 1:45. We're in the Starlight Ballroom on Village Drive. First order of business is a roll call. Poinciana CDD, Bob Zimbardi is present.
Lita Epstein, present.
Skip Stelfine.
Skip Stelfine's present.
And Dick Kellogg is not present, but we do have a quorum.
Okay, Poinciana West CDD, present is
Sid Rosenberg.
Bill Brown and Len Vento, and we have a quorum.
Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before I open it up to audience comments, I understand that Matt Rose, of the co-president of AB Homes, would like to make a statement.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your time. The Board of Supervisors welcome Lita to the board. We're happy to have you. My name is Matthew Orris. I'm the division president for AB Homes in Central Florida. It's an honor to be part of such an amazing team here and see the progress of Solivita over the past several months. Over the past 82 months since I've been part of this organization, we've done a number of very exciting transactions that we believe have benefited Solivita. And just to name a few, to ensure the residents' lifestyle is world class, AB Homes brought in a new lifestyles manager with Evergreen Lifestyle Management. Customer experience has always been paramount to us, and we listened to the residents of Solivita, and we changed operators for food, beverage, and golf to Hampton Golf Organization, and we've already seen very positive movement and positive changes that are being recognized in all facets of the community. The Poinciana Parkway was just recently completed on schedule, reducing travel time to I-4 and accessibility to the community. This amazing feat brings a 25-year planning session to fruition. I know Tony's happy to see that open, but AD has been part of that since day one and is a critical success story for the Solivita community. AD Homes just recently completed the new Stone Gate Grill. The renovation provides a fresh atmosphere, new menu, and more inviting spaces both indoor and outdoor for the residents to enjoy. Lastly, I believe today the new pharmacy and sundry store opened, providing residents easier access to the necessities that they've asked for over the years. All of this was completed with resident input, but at no additional cost to the residents. And we're even more excited about what's to come. It's important to keep in mind that these positive enhancements to the community over the past 18 months are just a sampling of the relationship between AB Homes and the Solivita community over the past 25 years. The company at its core believes in treating the residents in the community fairly and respectfully. It is with this long-term outlook to ensure that the community is stable, and selfishly to ensure that AB Homes properties in the area are stable as well. We have an undeniable vested interest in the success and happiness of this community. We will not enter into any agreement that would negatively impact the future of Solivita. We know each of the Curtis residents have a vested financial interest in the future of Solivita, and AB Homes has the same imperative. It is absolutely critical to keep that element in mind. Regarding the proposed sale of the club facilities to the CDD, our team felt that today was important to share a brief perspective of our views of the transaction, and also lay out a plan to ensure transparent communication is present during the upcoming due diligence period. First and foremost, it is critical from day one that this was structured as a win-win transaction, both for the community and for AB Homes. The fundamental transaction was very simple. Provide new, improved, and enhanced amenities to the residents for the residents' enjoyment, provide ownership and management of the club facilities to the residents instead of a third party, and finance the transaction through a new resident-paid annual CDD payment, which would entirely replace the monthly club membership fee that residents currently pay. The fundamental elements of this transaction have not changed even the slightest bit in 12 months since this was introduced. In addition, over the past several months of negotiations, AV Homes has made numerous concessions in good faith to accommodate concerns that you have all raised through your council. This includes, but is not limited to, agreeing to pay what would account for almost $10 million of operating and maintenance assessments on the lots that we are retaining through the build-out of this community to ensure the district maintains appropriate replacement and reserve balances. Further, we are agreeing to advance pay our operating and maintenance and debt assessments on our retained lots to provide the district with an operating reserve and cover any potential collection shortfalls. We are also agreeing to pay all closing costs associated with the transaction, and we are agreeing to deed the sales center to the CDD at a future date, absolutely free of charge. On behalf of AV Homes, we are ready and we are very excited to move forward. We appreciate the difficult and daunting task of getting 6,000 residents to be on the same page, and we struggle with the same misinformation that is still being discussed. As board members of your respective CDDs, we respect your ability to independently evaluate the valid concerns and distinguish those from the ones that are based on fiction and rumors. In particular, we note questions raised regarding the valuation and ultimate purchase price that was agreed to in the purchase and sale agreement. If you recall, in early 2016, AV Homes made a recommendation to use a certain consultant. The board elected not to use that consultant and went through a vigorous process for a request for proposals from 3 different consultants. In a completely independent and public process, you, the board, selected Environmental Financial Group to conduct an asset valuation study, determine an acquisition value, and ultimately negotiate with AV Homes a purchase price on your behalf. In the words of the valuation consultant that you, the board, engaged, the valuation report was based on conservative assumptions, provides for ample reserves, and leaves residents paying a slightly lower debt assessment amount than the club dues they pay today. That goes back to the win-win that we all discussed from the beginning. We now hear there is resident pressure for additional reviews and studies, which seems to absolutely ignore the diligent and painstaking process you as a board have gone through over the past 6 months. If the district would like to self-fund and conduct an additional valuation study during the due diligence period, it is certainly within your authority. However, I can tell you confidently that AV Homes has no interest in attempting to renegotiate or delay the transaction further for this purpose. If you ultimately determine the previously negotiated purchase price is no longer acceptable, you have the right to walk away from the deal. With all due respect, the board needs to look at the facts, feel confident in the transparency that has occurred, trust its well-respected counselors and legal team, and decide whether you want new amenities, a locked fee structure for the purchase of those amenities, and control of the community for the future. We believe that all valid concerns have been addressed and mitigated to their fullest extent. AV Homes renews its commitment to being a strong partner in this community and ensure that valid concerns will be addressed fairly and openly as they always have been done since we developed this. To ensure residents know the facts, we are coordinating an additional series of info sessions and ways for the community to get questions answered. On Thursday, January 12th at 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., we will be holding recorded coffee talks in this ballroom in Solivita. Further, we are anticipating on Friday or Monday at the latest, sending out a resident communication advising on additional information that's being posted to the website of solivitastrong.com, where more information on the status of this transaction and additional common questions that we received will be posted. This is all assuming that we move forward with the transaction today as previously voted. We continue to look forward to answering any questions, and we're excited about enhancing this already amazing community. I appreciate you giving me the time to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, I'll open up the floor to voting.
Excuse me just for a minute. There is one housekeeping item that we need to do. Mr. Zimbardi and Ms. Epstein were elected to this board. Mr. Zimbardi ran unopposed, and Lita ran and did win. And at this point, we need to administer oaths of office to the two of you so that we have a quorum so that we can continue to perform our business. So I'm a notary of the state of Florida, and as such, I can administer oaths. So if the two of you would please raise your right hand and swear or affirm that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that you are duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state, and you will well and faithfully perform the duties of a Poinciana CDD supervisor. Do you so swear or affirm?
I do.
I do.
And then I have one other one that we need to do, which is directly related to the CDD, so please keep your hand up. Do you so swear or affirm that you are a citizen of the state of Florida and of the United States of America, and being employed by or an officer of the Poinciana Community Development District and a recipient of public funds as such employee or officer, that you'll support and defend the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida? Do you so swear or affirm?
I do.
I do.
Welcome aboard. Again.
Okay. Housekeeping done. I'll open the floor to audience comments. Please state your name.
Hello, I'm Norman Gundell, 419 Fountain Valley Lane, and I'm a Florida lawyer. Tony Julio works for AV Homes. He's a skilled negotiator, and his job is to negotiate the highest possible sales price, and he's doing that job well. He began by suggesting that AV Homes would sell the amenities to a third party. He then allowed that AV Homes would sell to the CDDs, as though that were a concession, but only if the sales price was the maximum bonding capacity of the CDDs. He threatened to terminate negotiations when the CDDs wanted to use bond proceeds to provide a reserve fund. He resists residents' call for appraisals, asserting that researching what a willing buyer would pay is contrary to some supposed oral understanding on his position. And now today we hear a repeat of the threat to withdraw from negotiations. Tony Julio is not your friend. He's a skilled negotiator for the opposing party in a price negotiation. He is looking out for the interest of his employer, AV Homes, as he should. His obligation is to AV Homes to negotiate the highest possible sales price. As supervisors, your obligation is to the residents, is to negotiate the lowest possible purchase price. But the residents don't see you doing that. Instead, some of you have commented that you didn't attempt to negotiate the purchase price, instead merely accepting a computed price. Didn't realize that approving the contract wording included approving the purchase price. Authorized signing the contract without realizing that you couldn't negotiate the purchase price after signing. Didn't like the purchase price, but would authorize signing the contract anyway, as this negotiation had gone on long enough. Opposed authorizing a market price appraisal. Some of you have spoken at your dismay at resident opposition. This is why. As supervisors, you should welcome a second appraisal that may support a lower purchase price. If you can save residents thousands of dollars each, you should. If you can lower the residents' payments, you should. Third-party buyers can't come close to the proposed purchase price. They don't have access to tax-exempt financing and would not even consider a 30-year obligation. Furthermore, AV Homes will not sell the amenities to a third party. Many residents received these mailers last week from another builder. Having sleepless nights over the sale of your amenities? AV Homes has 1,400 more home sites to sell here in Solavita and untold thousands more to sell in Solavita Grand. They will not give their competitors such a competitive advantage. You have not yet signed a binding agreement with AV Homes. All of your votes and approvals so far are only amongst yourselves, and you can vote to rescind or modify them at any time before you and AV Homes sign the binding agreement. You represent the interest of only the residents. Please represent them well.
Rob Chalif, 298 Indian Wells Avenue. I think we have to clarify that there are two issues here. One is a quality of life issue, and one's a money issue. Now, I just sat here and heard this is a win-win situation. But I'd like to know, how is it win-win if we're giving extra passes to come in here when we don't have enough capacity in the winter for our own residents? We do have excess capacity in the summer when it's not busy here. But my wife goes to a gym class and now there's 60 people in there. The pickleball courts are full. The movie theaters get full. Dining areas get full. Now, we are expanding every year, more homes being sold here. So we have homes there. We have passes that are given, which are, if I'm correct, 2 passes for each, 2 people for each pass. So even if it's 200 passes in the first year, that's 400 people that can come. That's just the first year. I don't know where this will all add up to, but I do know that we're paying to live here. We want a certain quality of life. And in addition to this, there can be a very adverse effect on the value of your homes. If it gets out here that Solar Bean isn't a place that I want to go to the gym, gee, it's pretty, but I can't get in there, well, maybe people won't want to move here. Now, maybe that won't affect AV because you guys are selling new homes over there, and that's fine. But as a homeowner here, that's not what I signed up for. The other part's the financial issue, and I think for this much money at stake, you got to investigate. This is not deciding what meal you're serving in a restaurant. This is a big sum of money. And I want AV Homes, I want it to be win-win. I want AV to get a good deal, but I want us to get a good deal too. And you guys are invested to do this for us. We can't do it. We're counting on you to do the right thing. So I'm asking you to do the right thing, both in terms of the passes and in terms of the price. And the last thing is, if interest rates are going up and we're not going to be saving enough money to renegotiate, the bottom line out of this is we're benefiting the bond distributors who are going to make $1 million or whatever they're going to make, and we're going to save $50 a year, then why bother? You know, not worth it. Thank you very much.
I know this isn't a debate, but I do feel obligated to clarify a few items. Number one, regarding the passes, what I don't think the residents understand is that currently AV Homes has the right for passes for every unit in Solar Bean, grant, I'm sorry. By the pass arrangement that's dictated in this purchase and sale agreement is actually limiting our rights substantially to what we already have. So by doing this agreement, we are actually protecting the residents of Solar Bean more than what they currently have. We are giving you rights that we own as part of this transaction. So we're not getting 1,000 passes that we don't already have. We have the passes. We actually have 6,000 passes. We are restricting those to 1,000 passes as a temporary issue so that we can continue to add value in this community. You mentioned there's a fear that home prices are going to go down. There's nothing more that AV wants than home prices to go down. And I wouldn't be up here supporting this transaction if home prices were going to go down. Our business is dependent on selling homes and increasing values. We've raised prices 13 times in the last 18 months in this community since I've been in charge. We have not done that with the intent of driving down home values. And I would be, Tony, who's been here for 25 years, myself, we would not be arguing this if we didn't think this was a positive thing for the community. Regarding quality of life, so that regards quality of life. Regarding the investigation and evaluation, the board elected a certified person to do the evaluation. This was part of an RFP process, and part of the deal was that it was not going to charge any of the residents any more than you're currently paying. We are not asking the residents to come out of pocket even the slightest bit. This is a fair evaluation. It has, my fear is that residents are focusing on independent elements of this process as opposed to the big picture. We did not make up this number. This is a valuation. Their job is not to negotiate with the person who certified a value to the community. Nobody up here is a certified person to value the community, so what right do they have to argue with somebody who is? That's my concern. There's too much of this back and forth where there's no basis in fact. I plead with the Board of Supervisors to look at the facts of the situation and continue moving this forward so there's not further delay. Thank you.
My name is Dave Dolan. I used to live in the historic district, but I love this place so much that I bought a new home in a new section of Verona. The thing that concerns me is that I know with next door neighbor, we hear so many things that are going on, just like political ads and things. So I have a hard time understanding how the evaluations were done. I hear from AV Homes, evaluations were done in one way. I hear from you guys, evaluations were done in another way. And I hear the threat, and I've heard it 3 times now, that if you don't accept it, too bad. That concerns me. I think there are other ways of looking at the evaluation of the amenities here. The amenities are 16 years old. One of the amenities, or a couple of the amenities, they're not even including. They're not including the grill. They're not including the golf course. Yet, we did have originally $12 million. Now, we find out today, just 5 minutes ago, that it's now down to 11 million. So that it was kind of like 800,000, I guess. So what they did was, from what and I could be 100% wrong. It seems like on that 12 million, they took $800,000 to renovate the grill, which is not part of the amenities. I hear you shaking your head. I'm glad that wasn't the case. That's what I heard. Again, the thing that concerns me is that I hear 2 different ways of making the evaluations, and we're talking about 16 years old. When I was in business, I had tax depreciation. You know, your amenities and your things went down. If you wanted to redo it, you had to put additions on, upgrade your kitchens, upgrade your bathrooms, upgrade your roof, upgrade your air conditioners, all that kinds of stuff. They haven't done that. And that, again, is my concern. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you.
My name is Tom Sadowski. I live at 531 Patio Lane. And my concerns have already been expressed, so I'm going to just be short. I think that this is an issue of, are we getting a fair price? We've only had the one appraisal as far as I know. And getting a second opinion is never a bad idea in a $100 million bond deal for the purchase of assets. Are there enough reserves in the account that will cover it at the end of this term of these bonds? Will be 46 years old. There's inevitably going to be things that have to be repaired, replaced, or whatever. I don't look that this is necessarily urgent to get this done today. It's a good negotiating strategy, but it's not necessarily one that the residents have to buy into. And those are my major concerns, is that, are we getting a fair price? Why aren't we doing a second appraisal? Why aren't some of the concerns that the attorney, some of the residents have paid for, their concerns been answered? And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments?
My name is Terry Gway. I live at 1319 Villa Canyon Drive. And I'm new to Solivita. I haven't been here since June. This has been a great learning experience. I thank everybody that I've talked to and who's provided me some feedback and stuff. you know, we have been debating this for a long time. And so I sought a little bit of, I would say, different legal counsel on this. I happen to have family that's in the legal field. And I basically just asked them, I said, what would be some of the things that everybody should look at in a contract deal like this? The overriding thing that I was told is, if people say that certain things are going to happen, for it to be a fact, it must be written in the contract. So what I did was I looked at the version 20 contract line by line. And one of the things I looked for was what everybody has stated, restated, reinforced, and that is that there's going to be no additional cost to the homeowners. To me, that's kind of a binding, limiting factor. I could not find that any place in the contract. I may be missing it in the proposal, but like I say, that was the one basic advice that I received from my other legal counsel. So I would recommend that if that's going to be a binding factor, it be put in there somewhere. I did see in one line where there is a purchase price. I believe it was $73,700,000. The thing is, that is stated very explicitly. I didn't see anything that says that, you know, that monetary amount could change because of interest rate, could change because of the factors that are going to be present at taking bonds. And I know that that also was stated that it was going to be less because of paying the assessments. The other thing is, and it's just a question in my mind, I haven't heard any discussion about what has been happening over the years and the current amenities budget. And I haven't seen anything, I haven't been able to locate anything, so I guess I'm wondering, is there an amenities budget? And has the amount that the homeowners have been paying in, has it been covering so that we can do the proper O&M, you know, do the proper things with the amenities up to this point, you know, and I don't know if some of that goes into a reserve for unforeseen type of expenses that can come up. But anyway, those are the two things that I just wanted to present. Thank you very much for listening, and thanks for all the input that everybody has given.
Do we have any other comments?
David Roy, 125 Rancho Mirage Drive. Like the bad paint, I keep showing up here every meeting to talk about a few issues. Looks like overall the issues are starting to come together. I think we're really focused, in my mind, down to the price of things. We appreciate all the work that all you guys have done.
David, get closer.
And the work that AV Homes has put in this whole neighborhood. I think we're all happy with that. I enjoy life here. I enjoy playing pickleball. It's like I just left there, which I almost did. But anyway, that's either here or there. In my mind, the issue is still the price. In my last life, before I was playing pickleball, I was with Hager Clothing as Executive Vice President of Operations. One of the things I did as executive team was also on the acquisition team. I was not the finance guy. I was the operations fellow that tried to make it work after we bought a company. But when I went through the numbers of how we used to buy companies, the multiples put me in somewhere around $50 million these assets were worth. Now, EFG originally did their report, they came up with $56 million. After a letter from the AV Homes attorney, it got to 66, and now we're at 73.7. Not exactly sure how all that worked. But anyway, if you run the numbers of it, just to put it in perspective, it's $73,700,000 for 5,590 homes. That's $13,184 debt per home here. If we did it at 55 million, it would be $9,839 or $3,345 less per home. Now maybe we'd be nice and pay 60 million since Matt and Tony are nice guys. That would put us at $10,733 per home, or $2,400 less than what the 73.7 shows. I think how we got EFG from 56 up to 73, if we back into the numbers. I know I've been through these meetings since the very start, and the original premise that AD had was we would keep numbers about the same as the debt load. Well, I've never bought a home that way, I've never bought a car that way, where I went in and told the homeowner how much I made, and he could tell me how much I could afford, and that's what I bought the thing for. So I'm kind of still thinking a lot of these problems go away if they did one appraisal again since the 56 jumped up to 73 to support what the number really should be. And we can get a lot of things done. I know people in a hurry. All of us are tired of this whole mess. You want it to go away, you want it done. I for one it that way, but this same thing we've been asking for 4 or 5 months, be in a hurry now and say the time's run out. This could have been done. I mean, this is just a number crunch. This is not going through all the massive work that EFG has done already. This is just a pure number crunch that could be done relatively quick to satisfy the folks here, and we all feel better with it, sleep good at night, and you guys have a whole lot less hassle. So I just don't understand why we don't do that and be done with it. But that's up to you guys. I think it would behoove you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. Anybody else have a comment? Okay. At this point in time, we'll move on to the next item, which is the consideration of the minutes of the October 24th, 2016 meeting. All supervisors, I guess we have a copy of that, please? Okay. And are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes? I guess pointing in the CDD first.
I do see.
No? Okay. There being none? Then I'll ask for approval now. I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 24th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No. Motion carried.
Okay, points down the list. Any changes, comments about the minutes?
I accept as is.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Done.
Okay. Next item on the agenda are matters related to the amenity transaction. First item, sub-item, is an update on the purchase and sale agreement.
Mr. Chairman, you'll see in your agenda package, we have included the updated provisions which we've obtained since our last meeting. We only included, for paper's sake, the relevant provisions that have actually changed. So if you want, I can go through them in order. The first one is on page 2. This is actually just a clarifying matter. I wouldn't consider it substantive at all, but it's referencing that bonds shall be issued in 1 or 2 series. This was originally included and was inadvertently struck. What happens when you issue bonds, and we'll just use a makeup amount of $10 million. So if you're issuing $10 million in bonds, sometimes they're in one series of $7 million and another series of $3 million to total the $10 million bond issuance. Our financing team has provided that it may be good for the structure of potential bonds to perhaps issue them in 1 or more series. So we wanted to make sure that that language was included. Again, it was inadvertently struck to begin with, so non-substantive in nature and requested by your district staff. The second page, or second revision rather, is on page 17 in subparent 13. This was a request that the board had made at the last meeting after discussion about having AG Homes provide a specific security instrument, whether that be a letter of credit, or Gary, I think, had come up with the idea of perhaps a CD that was able to be assigned to the district. But in any event, that AV didn't make its regularly scheduled bulk O&M assessment payment at the beginning of a given fiscal year, that we would have this letter of credit or other security instrument kind of in waiting that we could invoke while we foreclose on the property. Again, as indicated at the last meeting, district staff doesn't necessarily see this as a concern, having just recently gone through the worst recession in recent years and never having a payment issue with AV Homes. Regardless, we brought this comment back to them, and they agreed to fund basically as a condition of closing, but something that would be hammered out more in the due diligence period, this type of security instrument for 12 months.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, whatever the board's preference, if you'd like for me to go through all of them.
This paragraph, I remember raising this, and it's not exactly what I had in mind, and I'm not sure about the board members, but let me tell you what I had in mind. This transaction is predicated, and with all the changes that were made, that AV Homes would be paying O&M on the unsold lots until they were sold. This paragraph says that they will post some kind of instrument for only 12 months. Now, everything's going good and we can't predict the future, and that's why I'm saying, should something happen to AV Homes, let's say in 3 years, yes, that's fine, they posted 1 year's payment. But what happens for the follow-on years when all of the calculations that were done for the reserves and everything else are predicated on O&M coming in from all the lots?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, so the concept that we had discussed, or that at least we understood to be discussed, was if AV Homes has undeveloped land that they default on their O&M assessments or debt assessments, they don't pay their assessments, we go through a foreclosure process.
On
So,
O&M?
On both, we can foreclose for either if it's all.
That's fine, but what do we do for funding in the meantime,
That's-
until the lien or whatever is
That's the
satisfied?
exact intent of this, was to get us through that foreclosure process, so then we foreclose on the property and then we resell it. It's to get us through that gap period when we don't.
What if it
have
doesn't
assessments
sell?
coming in.
What if it doesn't sell? We still have a certain budget that we have to meet. That's my point. You're saying, well, yeah, everything's gonna be fine and dandy, we'll have 1 year, and then all the property will be sold, fixed and all of that. I don't know. It doesn't sit right.
We